Hi Year 10, Miss Rasmussen here with your last week of lessons, starting with the heart. We will do a recap to begin with. So 5 questions, jot down your answers and then come back and check that you've got them. These are all from your fact book, so hopefully you are getting them, all of them correct. Question 1, which organ produces hydrochloric acid? That is the stomach. Name 2 conditions that can denature enzymes. High pH, low pH or high temperature. You can have any 2 of those. Which blood vessels have valves? That is the veins. What happens when enzymes are denatured? The active site changes shape, and what that means is that substrate can no longer fit in and the enzyme can no longer catalyse that reaction. And then question 5, where does gas exchange happen? In the alveoli, which are those air sacs found in the lungs. So this is core week 5, your only lesson. Triple, this is your first lesson. Facts are slightly different this week. What we would like you to do is learn the structures of the heart, and the ones you'll need to know are right atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle, left atrium, vena cava, pulmonary artery, aorta and pulmonary vein. So we'll look at the heart in a bit of detail, and then you can go and learn all of those labels, which would be fantastic. So when we talk about the heart, we talk about it having 2 sides, the left side and the right side. There is no way that the blood that comes through on this left side can get to the right side. They are 2 very, very separate bits. And we use colours to show that the left side of the heart carries oxygenated blood and the right side of the heart carries deoxygenated blood. You will need to know the labels. There is a copy of this in the Teams folder if you would like it. If not, if you Google heart diagram to label, I'm sure you will find one. But you do need to make sure you get a labelled diagram, so either grab it from Teams or please get one off the internet. So when we're thinking about blood, we'll start with the deoxygenated blood on the right side, and it comes in through this vein which is called the vena cava, and that is coming from the body, and it passes from the vena cava into the right atrium, which is this top chamber here. From the right atrium it will pass down through a valve, so we've got a valve just here which prevents backflow into the right ventricle. So it goes into the right ventricle, and then muscular walls here, so this is quite a much bigger chamber, and the muscles in the right ventricle will push the blood through and it comes out the pulmonary artery, which carries blood to the lungs. So that is this one here. Way to remember it, pulmonary is all about the lungs, so the pulmonary artery is carrying blood to the lungs, and notice this artery carries deoxygenated blood, so it's a slight different from most of the other ones. At the same time that this is happening, on the other side, blood from the lungs is coming into the heart through the pulmonary vein. So again, pulmonary means lungs, and it's coming into the heart, and this is the one vein in the body that carries oxygenated blood. Pulmonary vein, it goes into the left atrium and then the left ventricle. So you've got your left atrium, left ventricle, and then it leaves the body via a artery called the aorta. So again, these muscles here in this wall will contract and push it out. Now this bit of the wall on the left side is quite a bit thicker than it is on the right, and the reason for this is that this right ventricle is pushing the blood to the lungs. It hasn't got very far to travel. The left ventricle is pushing the blood out through the aorta and to the rest of the body, so it's got a lot further to travel, so it needs to be pushed a lot more, which is why the left side of the heart is much thicker, much more muscle, and that's your aorta, where the blood is leaving from the left ventricle. So please make sure that you have got your own labelled diagram of the heart. So say you can draw it, there is one in Teams, or you can download one off the internet. But make sure you have got those labels and that you know the path of the blood. Now, just in terms of right and left, it sometimes causes a bit of confusion about which side is which. The way to think about it is whenever you're labelling the heart, imagine it is in your body. So the left side of the heart is in the left side of the body. So when we look at it straight on, it's the other way around, but the left side of the heart is in the left side of the body. So what I'd like you to do is have a go at 2 explanations. There's 2 questions. Explain why the muscle wall of the left side of the heart is thicker than the wall of the right side of the heart, and explain why the heart has valves between the chambers. And think back to your last lesson on blood vessels to help you answer that one. So if you pause the video and answer these questions, it's an explanation, so make sure you're giving a reason. Maybe try and use a because in there. So pause the video, answer these questions, and then come back and check your answers. Okay, hi guys, welcome back. So the reason that the muscle wall on the left side of the heart is thicker than the wall on the right side of the heart is that the left side needs to pump the blood under higher pressure so that it can pump it a greater distance around the body. Therefore, you're going to have a thicker muscle to get that higher pressure and greater distance. Then explain why the heart has valves between chambers, exactly the same as in veins. They prevent blood flowing backwards and they keep the blood flowing in one direction. You don't want that blood to be going back on itself, so they prevent backflow or they prevent blood from flowing backwards. Now, what I'd like you to do is to do a bit more investigation into the heart. There are quite a few links here. Please view as many as you feel comfortable with. Some people may not want to watch a full dissection, and that is absolutely fine. The links will be below in the comments section. So there is the Science Learn. That's a really nice, it's having a go, labelling the heart. So you just drag and drop and check your answers. Have a go at this a couple of times, please guys, because it will help you to learn that diagram from your fact sheet. The second one is it's a 3D model of the heart and how it connects to all the other blood vessels, just to get a sense of how far that blood is going, where it is dropping off its oxygen, where it is being oxygenated and deoxygenated. There is then the 2 types of dissection. So this first one is a 3D virtual dissection, so it's all animated, so not as much of the blood, guts and gore, but very, very interesting, and it shows things very clearly. And then finally you have got a pig's heart dissection, which is a proper heart, so it's got the reality there for you. So please work through as many of those as you can, and as you're working through, make sure you can find those different parts of the heart that you need to learn. So the bits that you need to know is the right atrium. So this is this bit here, number 1, the right atrium. So it's on the right and it's on the top. The way I remember it is that T is top. Number 2 is the right ventricle. So this is where the blood comes and it goes down through here into the right ventricle. Does look a little bit like a V shape, and that's another way of remembering it, that it is a V shape. You then need to know the left ventricle, this one here, and the left atrium, again atrium at the top, and this left ventricle looks like a V. We then need to know the main blood vessels. So number 5 here is the Vena Cava. That is the one that comes from the body and carries deoxygenated blood. We have then got the pulmonary artery. We know it's an artery because it's coming away from the heart, so pulmonary artery. Then this one here, so this is taking the oxygenated blood, number 7, that is the aorta. And then finally number 8 has to be a vein because it's coming in, and that is the pulmonary vein. So use your fact books, cover up a bit of your heart or cover up the numbers and see if you can go round. Can you go round? Can you label 1, 2, 3, 4? Once you've got those ones, then work on your blood vessels, your 5, 6, 7 and 8. Make sure you've had a go at those videos in the or activities in the links as well, because they will really help you. So if you're in core, have a fantastic summer, and I will see you all in August. If you're in triple, I've got one more video for you on the reflex arc. Take care, stay safe and keep washing those hands.